All right, what's going on, everybody? I just wanted to take a few minutes and walk you through another ICO that has come to my attention. I think they're doing a few things well, and I wanted to share that information on with you guys, talk about their business model, the opportunity, and then also, look at the industry and discuss how they plan to execute and create value on the blockchain. This one is called Zero Edge Casino, and they have created the Zerocoin. And one of the things they talk about, it is a 0% house edge gambling network. Essentially, they say they've solved the casino always wins problem. Growing up, I used to go over to my grandma's house, and she would sit on the porch with the little handheld video poker game. So I grew up playing video games and knowing about the casino, and then knowing that casinos are in business for a reason, because they're very good at doing one thing, and that's taking your money. So it's interesting that these guys are actually adopting blockchain protocol to use that as an opportunity. They don't want to manipulate their patrons. They actually work with them, utilizing the blockchain, the network effect, Metcalfe's law, and essentially building a sense of continuity, a commitment to the network, to the token itself. Therefore, they don't need to take your currency when your commitment to the network is currency in itself. So it's a very, very, very interesting and some would say revolutionary business model, and only time will tell if they're able to be effective with it. But I think they do have a lot of the tools in place, and we can take a few minutes to look at those real quick. And looking these guys up, one of the things I came across right at the top of Google was this article from UTB, and it's talking about Zero Edge educates China Republic Macau on blockchain gambling. Now, I told you guys that I went to this one little bitty school that wears the gold and blue, runs out and touches the play like a champion sign before they play football. But one of the things we talked about at that school, one of the things I studied religiously, was the Las Vegas gaming industry. I actually at one point, planned to go out and work for one of those big casinos out there in Vegas, and actually interviewed with one of them, Las Vegas Sands, and and working with those guys and talking with those guys and learning how their business works. First of all, this is a huge industry in itself. I talk about that a lot on the blockchain and with the different tokens and opportunities available. That's huge. And then when you talk about Las Vegas and gaming, that's huge. And then when you talk about cryptocurrency, that's huge. So, what I see right away is that these guys are essentially kind of playing in 3 or 4 different arenas that maybe you might get lucky and be able to get a known brand in one. You might make, a few $100 million by just playing in one of those industries. But when you play in all 4, when you can make yourself, the go-to guy in all 4, that's when you start to have an opportunity that all too often is not seen, in business models, right? And so now I began to view these guys almost as, a new age party poker that's working and educating the government to regulate and create the governance to make the customer their partner and not their competitor, right? Because when you go to Vegas, all too often, you're competing with the casino. You have to beat the dealer on 21. But these guys are saying, no. They said the house always wins. That's fine. But, the customer is always right. And the customer is always right when they're making money, right? So it's a very interesting parable. So, real quick, I wanted to jump over and check out this video. There's a little promo video they have, so we can go over and see that real quick. Hold on here. Let's check it out.
Have you heard the expression, the house always wins? Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be like that. For the first time in gambling history, the blockchain has created a currency that truly solves a common casino problem by losing the house edge and creating the so-called zero edge. Zero Edge brings the revolution to the online casino industry since it takes zero profit. players can play zero-edge casino games using a zero currency that will only grow in value due to the increased amount of players. Zero currency grows as the zero-edge games attract players. More players means more demand, which results in increasing zero coin price. That way, everyone wins just by playing. What makes Zero more valuable is a limited supply of coins, like with Bitcoin. Purchasing Zero coins through the ICO is the only way to guarantee yourself coins before they are officially released to the public on an open market. Join our community and help change the face of casinos for the better.
So there you go. You can see that it looks like they may be set up to do quite well in the industry, not only in digital gaming, but also in international entertainment, and not only in international entertainment, but also with blockchain logistics, and not only with blockchain logistics, but, you know, casino, U.S. domestic revenue. I think that's going to be one of their biggest obstacles. Hopefully they're able to achieve is, you know, all too often these digital gaming platforms are not able to find that middle ground with the United States and bridging their business model with local governance. So hopefully these guys are able to cross that bridge. But one of the things I was able to see is that they do have a team of over 20, I think, different world-known advisors, you know, to build this thing out. So it's very interesting here. I have not been a big time gambler in a long time. You know, once you start making money, you learn how not to give money away. And back on the old business model, when the casino always won, I learned that I didn't like to give my money away to them. But, you know, something like this is a little bit more intriguing. Now it's not so much a, you know, beat the dealer kind of game. Now it's a participate in the network kind of game. Use Metcalfe's law to your advantage. And, you know, that's one of the things I wanted to discuss with you guys. I actually talked about this with Reggie Middleton on my interview with the Veritasium founder, and talking about Metcalfe's law and the strength of a network. Essentially what they're creating in their system is similar to the phone industry back when you had two, you know, telephones. The network wasn't very good. You know, you could just call your mom and that's it. You know, but once your mom got a phone number, once a grandma got a phone number, your best friend, your girlfriend, your brother, sister, you know, you had more of a network. And then, you know, once all their friends and grandparents and uncles, aunties, cousins, second nephews, nieces, bus drivers, anybody, once they came to the network, it was more valuable. That's because you had all these nodes, all these intersections, all these points of conversions. Essentially, they plan to do the exact same thing with online gaming through their centralized network and community. Again, a very interesting proposition. If you look at the online gaming market size, this is from their white paper. I'll include a link for all these references and resources for you guys. But their white paper talks about the online gaming market was over 35 billion in 2015 and estimated to reach 60 billion in a few years, in about 18 months, CAGR of 10%. That's not too bad. And so essentially what that means is if they get 1% of that, then they will be a big time player. 1% will put them at about $600 million. We'll come to that in a second. But what I see, the biggest thing I see with these guys is when you talk about video conference, right? When you talk about video conference, right? You think of one company, Skype, maybe Google Hangouts, right? If you talk about internet chat, you know, it's only a few apps that pop up, Discord, Telegram, right? When you talk about blockchain gambling, who pops up? So therefore, these guys are almost creating an industry that doesn't yet exist, and by doing so, they're gonna become the incumbent and automatically put themselves in first place. Now they have no competitors. This is a very theological execution that they're undertaking. I recognize that right away. It's a part of what they teach in Blue Ocean Strategy, to where, you basically divide the entire industry into red and blue, right? And red always competes with each other. It's the red ocean. You don't want to swim in the red ocean because it's full of sharks. They're greedy and they're always fighting over the little scraps of food, right? This is why, you drive down the highway and every other billboard is for a different little company and a different facet, but you don't really buy anything from any of them, but they're just competing. They're vultures for money, right? Prime example. Let's look at this thing right here. This one right here. That's a casino billboard right there. They're talking about the only non-smoking casino in New Mexico. So if you wanna, you wanna breathe some fresh air while you're playing your slot machines, north of so I don't even know, El Paso, is that in New Mexico? Then you got a place to go. However, it's 1 mile north of Highway 64, located at Taos Pueblo, right? They got slots, table games, and video poker. If you want 3-card Molly, they might not have it. If you want, a salon, they might not have it. Restaurants, they might not have it, right? All too often, you see that, they're competing over different facets. Smoking versus non-smoking. New Mexico versus New York. Highway 64 versus Highway 18. 1 mile versus 10 miles. Video poker versus Texas Hold'em, right? Those are the major differences, and those are all too often what these, small town rinky-dink casinos compete on, right? Loosest slots in town, right? What does that even mean? That means, maybe a couple tenths of a percentage they pay out higher than the next guy. That's not a real value. And so in Blue Ocean Strategy, they talk about, create an industry that doesn't exist. So therefore you have no competitors, free from competition. You capture a new demand, i.e. blockchain digital gaming, and you take a unique approach to stand out, i.e. the casino doesn't have to win because the network always wins, right? And that's what these guys are doing behind the scenes. I think is very, very smart. And hopefully they're able to execute it, because I think, the more successful blockchain-based companies we have, the better the industry will be overall. And this article was just released today from the Merkle, one of the top digital electronic publications in the world. They're talking about it will be $1 billion industry. It'll blow up. If you know anything about Bitcoin and the history of cryptocurrency, you know that the people who were, using it and spending it on Second Life are ultimately those, that made Bitcoin hot in the first place. It's a digital currency, so you need digital platforms to embrace it, to incorporate it, to innovate on top of it, to facilitate this mainstream global adoption that we're all hoping for, right? And these guys are only doing it one kind of way. So it's, but it's a bigger initiative, I think, that they're taking, and because they're going out and educating and partnering with local governance, only speaks to the likelihood that they'll be able to execute on it, right? And now we talk about, this is just another article talking about the need, the team, the product, a little bit more about the revenue, the industry. The money is there, right? Money makes money, and money makes money, especially when money is moving money and money is playing on top of money. Speaking of money, how much does an online casino make each month? I thought this was really, really cool. Just a random one-off, kind of math problem this guy did on this website, talking about CPA and rev share and CAGR and, 80-20 Pareto effects. Essentially what he did is he got to $4 billion divided by the top 4,000 casinos, right? He just rounded it down, rounded it up, rounded it down. But he threw in this 80-20. So he said 800 online casinos make about 80% of that 4 billion, which is about 3.2 billion, and which is roughly, when you average it all out, about $1 million a month. But then this one guy came in and commented. He said, yeah, that's nice. That's cool. He said, that's pretty generous, but we don't really make that much. He said, I am a casino owner, and we don't make that much because we have to pay for like micro gaming and third party providers and, GGRs and affiliate commissions, right? Well, guess what? When you own the network, you don't got to pay your neighbor to go bring his friend over. It's just everybody's eating on the same field. And so all too often, these backdoor, we call those bottom line, expenses, really don't play a part. And ultimately, I think that's going to be very, very beneficial for these guys. And I think, I'm fairly confident that they understood that and took the time to walk through it, which is why their white paper is 158 pages. I'm not going to be going through every one of those. I'll put the link for you guys to do that if that's what you choose. But just know, if they're able to get that 1% of $60 billion, that will essentially put them at a $600 million market cap, right above Waves, Populous, Stratus, and Verge. Those are some powerhouse startup coins, and this one would be sitting on top of them north of $600 million. Do I expect that to happen on day one? No, but as this thing is built out, as these digital economies take off, as they become a incumbent in a growing global industry and have some major partners come back them on that initiative, then that may create a different story, right? So there's a website right there, Zero Edge Casino. Check it out. Do your research if you are interested in participating in the ICO. All of that information is there for you as well. It's 6 days left. 49% complete. I think you get a 58% bonus on all that stuff. I don't really like to talk specifics of the tokenized economy. Everybody's different. Some countries have different laws. Just know your laws, do your research. And, if that's something that interests you, then by all means, the opportunity is right there for you. More so, I think this could be a great supplement to the cryptocurrency ecosystem in general, and I wish these guys the best of luck on their initiative. So with that being said, again, Zerocoin, Zero Edge Casino, Zerocoin ICO is live right now. Check it out. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Take it easy, guys. Peace.